Okay, so far you've seen the payload and its antennae. So next, what are we going to track it with? So currently, the initial setup is we're going to be tracking it with this software dongle, NooElec.com. This is connected to its own antennae. It can receive radio, digital TV, any signals. So how does this work? So let's plug it in. There are a few bits of software that we've got this set up to. We've got it set up with an application called SDR Sharp. This is software-based radio. And loading that up, you're presented with this screen here. Okay, we're presented with this screen here. Now this screen here has got various things. One of the most important things is the frequency at the top. This is set to the exact frequency which the config file for the Pie in the Sky software has, and I can load that up in a moment to show you. So we've got a couple of other settings. We've got this USB setting, that's the modulation, and a few other settings just to kind of filter out the noise on the signal. So if we click play, what you can hear here and what you can see is the signal. Okay, now this signal is made up of two different frequencies, a lower frequency and a higher frequency, and they are transmitting the data in bits, zeros and ones. This signal is called an RTTY signal. Now at the moment we can hear the signal, but what we need to do is transfer that signal to another software program to decode that into text. So firstly, we just need to use the virtual cable. So rather than outputting it through the speakers, we need to output it through a virtual cable and hit play. Now we don't hear anything, but we can pick up that signal using FL-Digi. Let's load this up. Okay. So this is specific, and we can see the signal starting there. Okay, what we've got here is we've got the signal, which is it's tuned into. Okay. We've also got, if I go to browse all, we can actually see the Putney High. If I go here, we can see the Putney High balloon 1 in the list because that's been set up on HabHub. And when we hit auto configure, what we have here is RTTY 300 baud, and that matches the config file on the actual Pi software. If we have a look at what's being output here, we've got the tracker name, the payload name. We've got which number ID, so it's going 96, 97, so which number we transmitted. We've got the time. We've got the latitude, longitude, altitude above sea level, and various other things, including we've got 9 satellites it's locked onto, and at the end we've got the checksum to make sure it's been received correctly. Right, so let's just see some other bits of software that we use. We used these previously to set up the Raspberry Pi. So WinSCP, this was used to log in to the Raspberry Pi. You can see the IP address of the actual Raspberry Pi. It's on the same network. This is connected through Wi-Fi, this computer, to the router. But the Raspberry Pi, as you saw previously over here, is connected with this this yellow wire down here. Okay, there's a pie in the sky box over there. So going back to the screen, we can hit login. This gives us access to all of the files on the Raspberry Pi, and we can see a number of the files here. These were programs on the Raspberry Pi that we needed to install before setting it up. You've got the Pie in the Sky, which is pits, and a couple of other things to make sure the pins work, so wiring Pi and this input output for the pins. SSDV will allow us to actually transmit low quality images. Unfortunately, I haven't got the Raspberry Pi camera plugged into it yet, but we will get there. So let's SSH in to here and show you the just the default password at the moment, which is Raspberry, and this puts us in here. A couple of files. We've got sudo nano boot PySky. This is the main config file. We've set our payload. We've got our frequency 434.125. We've got our baud rate. We've got resolutions of the camera, and we've also got the LoRa baud frequency if we do choose to receive off of that. So we've basically got everything there. We don't need to alter anything. Let's just close that. Some other things that we had to set up previously were the Raspberry Pi config. This menu basically allows us to activate the camera port, the pins port, and a few other options. So just to give you an example of that, we've got interfacing options. So for instance, the camera here, this is previously disabled. I'm going to keep it disabled because I've got nothing plugged into it. And we can basically control the Pi and alter various settings from here if we need to. Hopefully won't need to on the actual day. Okay, so let's have a look back here. As soon as I shut down the Raspberry Pi, you'll see the signal disappear, and all of this will stop being transmitted. So let's just try that with sudo halt. And you can see there it's just stopped midway through as it's shut down, and we've lost the link there. As we've shut it down, you can also see that there's no signal there. We've just got noise. There's no peak, no signal at all. Okay, thank you. And we'll certainly be doing more filming when we actually get to the launch day.